Welcome, welcome. This year was the historic 95th Oscars and was the first year in decades to televise all 23 Oscar categories. This is the official freeze frame, strictly casual post show, shouting out all of our favorite moments, heartbreaking snubs, the best fits, and every time Austin Butler seductively looks into the camera.
Welcome back to Freeze Frame, brought to you by Strictly Casual. This is the show where we stop to take a moment to discuss all the heavily talked about news of the week having to do with movies, TV, streaming, and pop culture. I'm your host, Ryder, joined today by Vincent DeSantis on a special episode of the pod. We're going to be breaking down the Oscars like Vincent said in the intro.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gents, what a day it's been, what a weekend. Hope everybody's been doing well. Vince, hope
Big night, Ryder.
Well. Yeah, it was.
Dude, big night. I mean, we had the Oscars and the Last of Us finale premiered at the same time. And we had the question of, like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do here? And I think we made the right call of watching the Oscars and then watching The Last of Us afterwards.
It was hard, kind of staying away from spoilers, and stuff like that. But and it was hard.
But we know the spoilers.
Yeah, we do know the spoilers. And I guess real quick to ask, did you see this Last of Us yet?
I did. Yes.
Okay. So after watching it now, it's kind of like, we know what happens.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I watched the Oscars live.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gents, let us know what you think of the show. Give us a review. It helps us out on other audio platforms. Let us, there's 5 stars review. You can give us a 1 star, 2 star, 3, 4, 5 stars.
Sure, whatever
you think of whatever you think of the show, and lets us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. We got Discord. We have TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, all that stuff for fast, quick updates. And all our socials will be linked down below if you want to connect with us. And let's get into the meat of it, the crux of what's going on.
So, Ryder, the Oscars, like, on one hand, kind of snuck up on me, and the other hand, I feel like I've been preparing for this better than any marathon I could prepare for. Trying to watch all the movies, like these interviews, these actor round tables coming out the last couple months, like anything what it is, I'm eating it up, bro. Other reward shows. But then it was like, oh, Oscars are next weekend. I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, it's go time.
It came fast,
and I feel like my preparation was at like 90% this year. There was a couple movies that I did not see that I feel a little guilty about not seeing. Is there anything that you wish you would have watched before seeing the Oscars this year?
I definitely think Tar was one for me just because I wanted to see Cate Blanchett's performance. And then also, I guess, Decision to Leave, which is one that we'll get into, kind of a snub, right? Not some recognition. Yeah. That was one because of you referencing it. And then that was really it. Again, of course, I wish to watch everything, but those are kind of the ones.
Yeah, you watched basically everything.
A little bit. No, I mean, some of them. I think we both got the same amount of gaps, I'd say.
Sure.
Right.
Because I feel like I have 2 big gaps, and that is not seeing The Fabelmans and Women Talking.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they added Women Talking to Amazon just for 24 hours yesterday, like Amazon Prime, and then they're taking it off just to have people watch it before the Oscars, which is kind of whack.
Yeah.
But pretty cool that they offered it for a while.
And it was funny, after I did see a clip of Women Talking on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? I see this winning best screenplay because the dialogue was like spot on.
And there you go.
And so I was like, that's good.
You nailed it.
Okay, I guess I wanted to ask you, big highlight. What was the whole show, real quick? What was the biggest moment for you?
Like, you mean the moment where I got most excited and stuff like that?
I guess what was when it comes to the show, I guess for me too, it's kind of like, if they did this, I'll be happy. Well, it's like, if this project won, if this actor or actress won, something, or a joke or a moment, surprise.
I am very happy that Everything Everywhere won Best Picture. I think it had tough competition to go up on, movies that are arguably better, or, depending on who you are. But I think that Everything Everywhere deserves it for, there's a story. There's stories on stories on stories that go behind Everything Everywhere, and the Academy loves stories. And I'm glad, it's crazy. If this movie came out and you're like, yep, this is winning Best Picture this year, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have been like, oh, nobody, like when I watched it first weekend, like last March, this is March 2022.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I was preaching this movie out to freaking just wherever I could. I had no idea it would win Best Picture. I wouldn't have believed myself.
I'm right there with you. Me and Peyton, when we I had only seen one trailer, and I was already kind of like confused on it. I was like, "Oh, it looks enticing," but of course, it's one of those like it's another movie, right? That's where I had placed it. Peyton threw me out. You know, my good buddy Peyton was like, "Let's go see a movie. Let's check out this Everything Everywhere," and we're like, "Okay, let's go." Who knows? Went to the theater, and it was so packed, and that was a wild experience because it was. Everybody in the crowd, I think, was unanimously like kind of like looking at each other like, what was that we just saw, right? It was,
awesome.
Emotional. And I think the emotion is what hit us all. And we're like, this is going to be something. And that's when the talk started, right? And you know how it blew up. And so it's kind of weird how it came up randomly almost. But then it kind of spread everywhere and infected everybody. It's like, go see it.
my roommate was like, is it uncool to like Everything Everywhere now that it won Best Picture? Is that like uncool now?
Oh yeah. No, I feel that. But yeah, like I've been telling you about, I was like, because I was thinking about La La Land when La La Land won everything, and then they gave Moonlight Best Picture. So I was thrown out. I see maybe Banshees winning, and then during the show, I think I was thinking, what if they give All Quiet the Best Picture?
I would have been so upset, Ryder. I would have been so upset.
Because who knows, right? It could be anything.
Did you watch All Quiet?
Half. I'll say half of it.
Okay, he didn't even like it enough to finish it. That's what.
It was hard for me. I was like, it's great, but
it's a good movie. I just don't think it's as great as it got. I don't know. It won for. I don't know how to say it, but
it won for what? Cinematography, production design.
For cinematography, it had good cinematography. For like, it won best soundtrack, right? Or best
score. I want to say,
best score. Yeah,
that's kind of
ridiculous, bro. Yeah. That should be Babylon. I mean, I
wanted Babylon too. Yeah,
it should have been Babylon. They had those 3 dubstep notes that won. It was the.
I was like,
which was great in the movie. It's very haunting.
It's cool.
But
I'm with you.
And it won. All Quiet also won set design. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Up against like Elvis and like Babylon again.
Yeah.
Crazy sets.
It's wild because this Oscars seemed very kind of grouped up, right? Like what was the skew of awards? It was like only a couple. It was like. Banshees was nominated and won everything, or like only a few films won, right? Like not it.
Banshees won nothing.
I said Banshees. Oscar. My bad. I meant Everything Everywhere All at Once. My bad.
Yeah.
But like there was only a select number of films that won. Like it wasn't spread. Sometimes it was spread out. Spread. Sometimes it's very like just give this one everything.
Yeah, they were favorites. They were definite favorites that you go into this.
They definitely went, and it's also hard to figure out: are they going like mainstream, or is this what everybody actually liked? Because you can never know. It's like, are they just picking these because they don't want to outroar?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was that article that came out maybe last week where it was the last day of Oscar voting, and there were some anonymous Oscar voters saying that they only voted for the movies that they wanted to win and then abstained or whatever from voting for anything else. That way, they would make sure that they didn't give votes to anything else that was in the same playing field, so that their favorite movie would win.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I
feel like if you're an Oscar voter, you should be required to vote for every category. Like, I feel like it's a big duty to be like, you are required to watch every single movie. You are required to vote in every single category. Like, that sort of thing.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's even that hard to watch all these films, and it should have like a when they're in the Google Drive, they're required for the poll. Like, you gotta submit something. You gotta know. Like,
it feels ridiculous that there's only like 150 Oscar voters or something, or 100 Oscar voters, and you have people that are voting for one movie and might not be watching the rest of them. Like, there's so many people that are probably better fit for that place then.
Yeah, I'd be nervous like voting if I did that. I'd be like, oh, sorry,
no shot.
For me, a big highlight. I mean, once this happened, right off the bat, it was Ki Wai Kwan and winning, and of course, his speech was so emotional, and I think it was very touching for someone like me to hear. He literally spoke to the screen. He was like, "Don't give up your dreams," and I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was emotional, man. I was like, "Oh, it was hard." Yeah. Me and Peyton were sitting, we were kind of crying. I'm not gonna lie.
It's good.
We weren't kind of crying, we were, and it was just like, because it was crazy. Because I think what was emotional was seeing the people, even what was her name? The announcer, the person that gave the award. I forget. Ariana DeBose.
I don't know.
There we go.
Okay.
She was.
I didn't see it.
As soon as she opened the card, she was starting to cry, and I was like, man,
that's awesome.
For people to get emotional for him and to see like his time to shine, it was just like that's emotional because everybody kind of is rooting for you. I was like,
Yeah.
man, that's tough. That's crazy how everyone's rooting for you, and then you get
Yeah.
this, and it's just so overwhelming. And yeah, it was a great speech, and he was like the American dream, and I'm like, that really is, to start from where he said to get to that point.
Yeah.
Man, it's emotional stuff. So that was for me. Where that was like the first two awards of the show. I was like, this is great. I'm set. I don't gotta watch anything else.
So I'm gonna play in the first like 20 minutes this is starting, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch the Oscars. Like, I'll have to watch only the last half or whatever. But I go on like the Southwest like free in-flight TV or whatever, and they've got the Oscars live, so I'm watching like SD quality. It's like maybe 5 minutes behind. I'm like, it's just horrible. But I heard the opening monologue, and I kind of want to talk about the flow of the show a little bit, because this year, obviously, with all 23 Oscar categories in the show, it is a longer show. It was 3 hours, 3.5 hours, almost.
Yeah. They started at 5. They went to 9, 9:30, 9:15.
8:30.
They did?
Yeah, 8:30. I think it was over. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Pacific time.
Okay. No, okay. Well, yeah.
Maybe 9. Anyways, long show.
Long show. Yeah.
How did you feel about the opening monologue? This is always something that has a bunch of debate every year.
I probably missed, I want to say, 30 seconds of it. So
okay,
just un poquito, because we were at Ralph's
like 10 minutes
Snacks, but I did get it when he was talking about Fablemans and stuff like that. So I don't know some of the jokes he did, but some of them were like intense. Okay. He threw out a lot of the Will Smith jokes, which I guess the following year you got to do it, but I'm hoping next year it doesn't happen. But he was also he was warning the audience. He was being like, guys, don't, like, kind of seriously in a way, maybe, like, be careful, like, please, let's not do crazy stuff. And also jokes about Will Smith and politics, which was like, and he was going in. Jimmy Kimmel was going crazy with some of these.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
I thought the opening monologue fell off when he started doing that, like the Will Smith stuff. I mean, like, you have to mention it. You have to make a joke about it. I get it. But then it's like multiple jokes. You're like, all right, that's like over it. But for the most part, I thought his jokes about the movies and the actors there were really good. I thought they were funny. And usually the opening monologue is rough. I remember Ricky Gervais's opening monologue for the Oscars a couple years ago. Horrible, just terrible, like distasteful jokes, and
he'd come up, say a speech, bless your God, and then get your award and go off. Like, it was like, oh God, it was like
all sorts of stuff that was like, oh, it does not feel like a celebration. It feels like, I don't know what we're doing here. So I thought it was much better than that. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a good job for the most part. He didn't have too much screen time in a good way too, of like, they let the other presenters like really say some stuff, and it wasn't just he was the host, but it wasn't like the Jimmy Kimmel show that we were watching, like, which was nice.
It was I'm glad that not that only a couple people got cut off. I always hate when it's like I'm there rooting for them, like, go get on the stage, hurry, like, I don't want you to get cut off. And surprisingly, they let them,
except for
speak.
The visual effects, dude.
Yeah, like, it was one guy that got cut. There was some awards that got cut off. Even like short film and stuff like that. There was some stuff here,
right?
Where like the second person would come up, but then people started catching on, and they would say blah blah blah, come up. You know what I mean? And they would
they would point to their friend,
person, so that way they wouldn't.
Which is great.
Off. But when you would be done and like, thank you, and then walk away, the second person would come up, and they would be starting the music. It's like, no, you gotta, reel in your second person to talk. But like Daniels, they were on it. That guy was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
because they've had a lot of experience winning these Best Director awards.
You're right. Yeah, he's like, come on, let's go. Dude.
Super crazy that they've won Best Director. Do you think that's deserved, or do you think it belonged to anyone else in the category that was nominated?
Look, Spielberg has already become the greatest director of all time. I think to kind of, continue that, it's like, yes, The Fabelmans is great, and you want to acknowledge the amazing directing of Spielberg that is, and the other directors too, not just Spielberg, the other directors too. But I think when it comes to something as creative as if they won the they didn't win the screenplay. My bad. No. I still think that the direction that they took this film in is creative one. So yes, I do think that a dual team. I do think
Wait, Everything Everywhere won Best Original Screenplay. Fabelmans did not.
Oh, original screenplay. My bad. I was thinking of adapted screenplay. I was thinking of Women Talking.
Got it.
Thank you. Okay, so then that kind of adds more to my point about the fact, when you win an original screenplay, I was thinking, okay, so then the direction is to take the screenplay and adapt it to screen, even though it's not adapted. But So I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I was like, yeah,
Sure.
rightly so, I
And they
guess,
wrote
right?
it, which is pretty crazy too.
Yeah, yeah, it takes a lot. So I see the acknowledgement. I like it. And also what I was gonna say about when it comes back to the host thing about the jokes and stuff is that there were also a lot of actors that it was kind of their first time getting nominated, first time winning.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of them they actually cared about this, right? I think
Yeah,
sometimes we see shows where it's actors and actresses and directors third, fourth, fifth time being nominated and winning. So
yeah,
they're regulars and it's kind of like nothing. Let's say nothing to them, not really in quotes,
yeah,
but this was more of like everybody was rooting for everybody here, right? Brendan Fraser
totally.
and Key and Michelle Yeoh and stuff like that. Um, I
Which
think.
honestly felt kind of weird. I felt like in the categories
Hmm.
that everyone was like rooting for in this
Hmm.
Oscars was a surefire bet that they were getting the Oscar and people would be really upset if
Hmm.
they didn't win
Hmm.
versus like the
Yeah.
categories that had less conversation around them all went to like all quiet. Like every single one that nobody
Right.
was talking about was going to all quiet or like something else. Like
Yeah.
which is odd. Like I look at the best actor lineup,
Hmm.
right? And I just watched The Whale too.
Hmm.
And I think
Oh.
Brendan Fraser has the best story behind him of the story of like hasn't been in movies for a long time, comes back, does a movie that he has a good performance in. And so like epic, he wins the Oscar. I think it's awesome. I love Brendan Fraser. I
Hmm.
don't think I would have been happy if
Versus,
other
yeah,
people won.
yeah,
Like I would have
because
been
the
if Colin Farrell
competition was
won,
that fierce.
I would have freaked out.
Hmm.
If Paul Mescal won from After Sun, a
I'm with
performance
you.
I think
Yeah,
about more than The Whale. Because I mean, I'm not a huge fan of The Whale. After watching it, I was like,
with you.
I
Me
think
too.
he's
Me
good
too.
in it.
Yeah,
He's great in it.
his
Uh,
performance, not just. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
but that was such a heavy competition of there of being like, this is wild. This is wild.
it
I'm
was. Yeah.
happy he won, but I would have been happy with other people too.
I saw that they posted like the past five winners were based off real people, right? Like it was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Austin
like,
Butler thought he was a surefire bet.
yeah, Austin Butler could have, taken it, but yeah, even Paul Mescal, it could have been that type where we've seen it where it's like there's big heavy hitters, but they give it to
Oh,
the
I would have
underdog. I want
loved
to
it.
say, is it wrong to say underdog?
Totally.
And it's like, yeah, I'm for Paul. I mean, God, his performance was great in that film.
So good.
But then again, I think about Colin too, and it's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't really pick what I think was great about it, but you just feel something great about it, and it's like if
Yeah.
Colin won, that would feel right too, right? So
Yeah. It's interesting because I think his performance was probably less memorable than Austin Butler's in Elvis or Brendan Fraser in The Whale. But he has a story behind him too of like never being nominated, acting in like so many
mhm.
films now. Like that's a big moment for him, sort of thing,
Yeah,
with a director and a cast that he's acted alongside before. Like pretty cool. I don't know.
my
And
mom
I
said it.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, my mom was saying about Brendan Gleeson. She was like, I don't know, he didn't really act that much in the film. And I'm like, yeah, that's how good he is. He's like, they weren't even
He
doing anything.
seemed, yeah,
They were just they were natural. They
yeah,
were just that good. They just didn't even seem like acting.
right.
But my
And
mom
I
was
mean, I
like,
feel the same way with
no.
the director race of like any
Mhm.
one of those people that got nominated would have been a great win.
Yeah.
Having obviously Steven Spielberg would have been pretty awesome too,
Mhm.
directing, but
Mhm.
he's been nominated for movies in 4 different decades now. That's what Jimmy Kimmel said on stage. That's crazy.
Insane, dude. I still think Spielberg is one of the best. That's my like I know a lot of people
Yeah,
say he's dropped off from his from the 80s and 90s, but I do think even his recent stuff is like there's some really cool stuff that I enjoy as a
yeah,
young person. So I think
definitely.
he's one of the best. But yeah, again, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, best actress Michelle Yeoh won. I think that was another one, like we said, where it's like. I mean, there's a lot.
She
It's
was the
tough,
obvious
but
pick.
yeah, it was the obvious pick. It's like it's her time. I think it goes into the performance, but it's like what is right. I don't know. I feel like if the Oscars did
Yeah,
Kate, I don't know. There would have been some outroar, dude. People would have been like,
there
Oscars
would have
still
been, but
falling
like,
back.
yeah, it would have been. I
I
think,
get that. Yeah, Kate is one of the best. Dude. Kate too. They're both
and she's
amazing.
won multiple Oscars
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
Like
she's already won. Yeah.
I think her performance in Tar might be better than Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere. Like I think it's a better performance.
Mhm.
But that being said, I'm so happy Michelle won. I'm
Yeah.
glad it went that way. You
Yeah,
kidding
yeah.
me? Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. I will say, best supporting actress, Jamie Lee. Look, my Marvel side was saying Angela Bassett, but I knew that there were some other strong performances too. And kind of the underdog for me was Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere. And I was like, round off this icing on the cake, you have Stephanie Hsu, Michelle Key in the best picture. But when Jamie Lee won, I was like, okay, everything gets still the recognition, but I think everyone was kind of what I saw on my feed, my own personal feed was, didn't expect that. Didn't expect that. She was kind of robbed. I don't know. I didn't really think anything of Jamie Lee's performance for everything, but it was a surprise for sure.
Yeah. I cannot believe she won this, to
Right?
be honest. I don't really know who I think I'd rather it have gone to Carrie Condon for Banshees.
Her too.
I think she has the most memorable performance in Banshees to me is Barry. Barry Keoghan or Kogan.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm thinking. But yeah,
he's so good. They have that scene. It's Barry and Carrie. That's so funny. And they're on the waterfront, and Barry's like, "Would you ever fall in love with a boy like me?" And she, like, that scene is so good.
There goes that.
And she's like, "No." Yeah, there goes that exactly. That scene is so good. That's like such a well acted scene, and I think she could have won for that scene alone. And I would have loved to see Barry win too, but Best Supporting Actor, obviously, Key was. I mean, that's pretty awesome that he won. I don't know. That was a category I didn't really agree with all that much.
I think, like Carrie too. I would like that's kind of like seemed like the obvious. I was with you. Carrie's performance was like, man, this is so. It was so emotional and it was so real, right? Like even though I'm voting for Stephanie and Angela, it's like you could have given it to Carrie and that would have made sense. But I don't know. I feel like Jamie Lee was like the bottom of the list there for me.
But she had the story of she hasn't been nominated. She hasn't been nominated. I don't really know.
You know, and her mom Debbie Reynolds. You know, she's Hollywood royalty, man. So I don't know.
She is.
That goes into it too, I guess, right? You know, you never know. I wanted to talk to you about. Did you see the documentary feature that won Navalny, which was the Russian?
Did not watch it.
So no, sorry, not watch. Sorry, the award. I didn't watch it.
Oh, I did watch the award. Yeah.
Okay. So it was towards like the end. This was interesting. Apparently it's about a man in Russia trying to lead a Russian opposition against Russia for the war of Ukraine. And so this guy's entire family was there. And so they bring up the wife and her 2 kids. And she was talking like, my husband is right now in prison in Russia because he's a political prisoner. And they were calling out Putin, you know what I mean? Because they were like, war this, like war in Ukraine, all in fairness. And he's just trying to, he's a peaceful protester, right? I think this documentary is about him leading a revolt against the Russian opposition.
What the heck?
And so his whole family was there. And she was like talking to her husband, like, I love you, hang in there. I hope to see you soon one day. And it was like, wow, how wild
that's crazy.
So I don't know, I thought that was crazy. Like it didn't get that political. It wasn't that crazy, but it was just still like, wow, like poor guy. He's like, I don't know the story. I don't know what he did.
Right.
I'm kind of reading. But he was like, she said something about dictatorship, and I was like, wow, they're calling out Putin live on the Oscar.
That's crazy.
Dude, it was wild.
Yeah, I'd want to check that out.
Poor guy, he's a political prisoner right now. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I would love to check that out. That's crazy.
Makes sense why they won. I guess it's very relevant, right?
Sure.
War in Ukraine. So I thought that was wild.
Yeah. Talk about the performances real quick. We got Natu Natu. We had Lady Gaga and Rihanna.
Riri.
And what else did we have?
Stephanie Hsu for I think also Everything Everywhere. They did a song from that, which was.
I missed it. I missed that.
It was okay. It was weird. It was a weird song.
And I mean, I know we have some Lady Gaga stands here and Strictly Casual audience, but I do not think that was a good rendition of the song that she made. Like,
there's something. I just want to know what was going on with Lady Gaga because she kept it real muted. She kept it real, like clean. She had the t-shirt and the jeans on.
Which is cool,
I want to say, was it something that she was? Oh, you know what about Tony Scott? That was the cool thing at the end. I was thinking about. Where they kind of honored Tony Scott, the original director, and Top Gun. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Tony Scott's story is so sad.
I don't know his story. What I knew his past.
He killed himself. It was like suicide. It's very sad. Super depressed. Yeah, I think he was in 2010, 2011. Really sad.
That's wild. Wow, that's sad. But as for Lady Gaga's performance, I think in the beginning she seemed very emotional and she seemed very like. I have something to say, and it was like,
sure,
what's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay, Lady Gaga? Are you just talking about the show, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. For me, it was Not to. I did want the main two actors to perform.
I know the performance actually was like not good. Like it was
no,
fine. It
yeah.
wasn't the same.
Everybody kind of on my feed was saying the same thing, like it was a little all over the place, and I was like, it was great, the energy was there, but
That being said, so glad they included it in
Yeah.
so it's fine.
glad for
Whatever.
the recognition for sure. And then I'll my highlight was, I think Lift Me Up was, man, that was so
I think
good.
Rihanna killed it. She
God.
killed it.
Because
She put everyone else to shame, honestly, that was
Yeah.
out on the stage.
she's already an amazing singer. My God, the first note was amazing, and the stage was great. The the choir singing behind her was amazing. I was like, this is powerful. And then to
She did.
start with the Chadwick
Start with what?
acknowledgement was great. With
Oh yeah.
was it Denai Guerrero?
Every single actress
Yeah.
and actor from Black Panther did
Always
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dang.
Mhm.
So cool.
And then to see like the camera cut to ASAP Rocky,
Oh
like,
yeah.
clapping, like he's
Yeah.
so happy. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's go. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
some
she
more
killed
stuff. Do you want to get in the clip now, or
Yeah, let's jump into the clip.
Wrap up more stuff to that.
I'll have you
Okay. You take
intro this baby in 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, me? Oh, damn. So I thought you
That's
take,
okay.
because you have all this good stuff. Oh no, I'll
Okay.
bring it to you. No, you're right. I'll bring it to you. My
That's
bad.
what I
My
thought.
bad. Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
The Oscars 2023 have arrived, and with that comes some amazing awards, but also some snubs and maybe some things that we wish got acknowledged more. We have some stuff we want to talk about, little highlights of the show. Let's get into it. What do we think?
Here we go. The 3 films that had the biggest snubs at this year's Oscars were The Banshees of Inisherin, which was nominated for 9 Oscars, the second most nominated film behind Everything Everywhere and All Quiet's 11 nominations, and it won 0 Oscars tonight, Ryder. 0 out of 9. We have Elvis nominated for 8 Academy Awards. It won 0. And finally, The Fabelmans was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, and it also won 0. These are huge snubs in my opinion. I don't know. Did you want to see any of these overtake any of the wins that we did get?
I definitely think when it comes to Elvis, it's tough when it comes to costume design, and definitely production design as well. All Quiet won for production design. It's tough because I don't know the criteria that they're doing for production design, because you have on-set real work that you're in the trenches for All Quiet, but Elvis has some good stuff with accuracy of the time period.
Sure.
The accurate costumes that Elvis had, they're very iconic pieces, and the stitching and the jewelry and all that. So it's tough when you come to stuff like that. I also want to preface though, we both are happy that Everything Everywhere and a lot of the other awards with Best Actor, Best Actress won, but we're also talking about the snubs and stuff. Just I can hear the comments now.
We have a full podcast episode. We'll link it down below. That is a complete Oscars 2023 recap. We want to get into some things that we felt were missing from the Oscars itself. I think that I would have loved to see Banshees win for screenplay over Everything Everywhere, for original screenplay. I think it was strong. The entire movie is strictly conversation, and I thought it's compelling the entire time. I thought it was written very, very well. I would have loved to see that, but it's hard to see the actor categories. I'm pretty happy with how those turned out, besides supporting actress and a couple others.
No, I'm with you. Banshees, that definitely. It's a dialogue heavy film. You learn the story only through dialogue, really. There's great visuals, but the story is it's also, I hear it's very Irish. It's a very kind of Irish,
Totally.
I don't know, sense of humor and kind of the style of conflict it is, right? So maybe that's something that kind of went over it went over my head a little bit. It was hard to grasp. I understood what was going on, but I think the significance of the story was there. But yeah, again,
I think even in Banshees, it's like an allegory for wars that Irish wars that they've been into, being on an island outside. It's pretty interesting. Now I want to talk about some movies that weren't even at the Oscars at all.
Yeah.
At all. And that is Decision to Leave not being nominated for a single thing was heartbreaking to me. It's easily one of the best movies of 2022, in my opinion. And I would say that it has better cinematography than anything that was nominated at the Oscars this year. I think that movie is genius. If you have not seen it, please go see it. Even though it was not nominated for anything, it's more than worth your time. It's so incredible.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that film, but everything you said about it sounds great, and I take your word for sure. Also, the Batman. I gotta throw out the Batman because yes, when it comes to anything I know comic book films wherever they place, but I do think this film is a step up when it comes to cinematography, right? You even have here about Roger Deakins even throwing its name out about, dude, the Batman had some of the best cinematography.
Yeah.
Just the nom would have been fine. Like, you don't, there's
Oh yeah.
good
But
stuff
yeah, I
here,
don't
but
think I wouldn't expect it to win,
no,
I
yeah.
guess. But I would have loved to see it get nominated. I thought that film had incredible cinematography that really like if the idea is the cinematography should like take you into the story and also do something like creative, something that you haven't really seen before, I feel like the Batman is a great nomination for that. I think that is exactly what
The
that is.
Batmobile scene could be used for evidence because of the kind of POV on the card. Like, I don't know, that was
Yeah.
something we haven't really seen, a car chase where it's,
And
POV.
I want to say that that wasn't added because it's heavy CGI. Like while
Yeah,
some stuff is real, it's like
volume
it,
and
it's
CGI.
not
Yeah.
like there's some stuff that is actually in the shot and then a lot of stuff that is not. So it
Yeah.
makes it harder. It's not in the visual effects category, you know.
As for, I guess, one performance when it came to Jamie Lee Curtis winning, God bless her. I also want Angela Bassett or Stephanie Shu. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think like I said, for my Twitter feed, I was hearing kind of that was the big surprise.
Yeah.
The Marvel fan in me, Angela Bassett gave such a powerful performance as Queen Ramonda. Stephanie Shu, like I said, would have been great to round off for Everything Everywhere to win. But she's
Too much.
young.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much
she's young.
everything.
She got time, and yeah,
Yeah.
and then even Carrie Condon, like we've been talking about Banshees, she gave such a real amazing.
Yeah.
God, like there's it was tough, but I do get the story behind Jamie, so maybe there's
Right.
story to her winning there. Yeah.
And I talked about it in the full episode too, but I think for best actor, I really loved how Brendan Fraser won, but I think that Colin Farrell and Paul Mescal are incredible as well, and I would have been happy with them taking the award, just as happy as I am with Brendan. But also, I want to bring up Top Gun Maverick not being nominated for cinematography. I think that the advances in cameras that they did to make that happen in the planes is enough to warrant the nomination. Maybe not the win, but like I don't know,
Acknowledge,
retrofitting
yeah.
IMAX cameras onto
Yeah.
like fighter jets
The
is
F-18
pretty awesome.
cockpit. Yeah, I'm with
Yeah, that's
you.
pretty cool to me. And it felt awesome in the theater. So like if a movie can make you feel like have a rush of feeling go over you in the theater because of some of the camera stuff, I think it should be nominated for sure. It's awesome.
100%. And lastly, for me, it has to be. Come on, I want more love for RRR. I know it's tough because it's an Indian film, and we're trying to explore the medium more, with world cinema. We got the Not To win, which is crazy. We got the first nom and the win for Not To, which is the song from RRR. I don't know what other noms I would have given this because it is such a bombastic action film. Maybe editing or screenplay.
Yeah, it is tough.
It's tough, right, to figure out. But hopefully we see more films that come up from different countries and we get a little more recognition. But
I mean, we saw All Quiet get so many Oscars tonight.
Right?
That's from Germany. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
Let us know in the comments if you have any other big snubs that you think that we're missing or that you just thought definitely should have won that did not, or movies that just weren't even there in general.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of those too. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch this entire post-show breakdown, we have the full podcast. It's episode 102 of Freeze Frame. If you go on any podcast platform, type in Strictly Casual Freeze Frame. It's a yellow box. It says Freeze Frame, and this is obviously it's going to be called like Oscars Wrap Up or Oscars Post Show or whatever it is. So peace out. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. There it is. Boom.
Some little tidbits and highlights, about the show overall. The set design of the Dolby was pretty cool. They had lights on the chairs, so when it would show up a screen, they had the entire Dolby, and the chairs on the floors would light up the same color. And I was like, oh, that's creative. How'd they get that? How'd they do that with the chairs? I don't know I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, chairs are cool, and I liked the little LED banners that they had on the sides too with the show. It was like a marquee. Like a theater marquee sort of thing.
Cool. Throughout the show, they were showing the best pictures, kind of honoring each one with little clips and stuff like that. I don't know, have they ever really done that? Because usually, in different ways. Okay.
Years before, they would do all of them before the award, but it was so long, and so now they just do they highlight one every time a commercial break comes back as here's this movie nominated for Best Picture tonight, and they show 15 seconds, and then it goes on.
It went pretty fast. But they also had they had less presenters for the same awards, which I think is a great call because you don't got to keep switching them out. It's like, okay, next
takes a long time.
we do two each time.
Right.
And then, okay, I put the set design. Oh, yeah. So because this was ABC, of course, Disney owns ABC. It was interesting that there were some trailers dropping. Maybe there was only one. I'm talking about Little Mermaid. But I feel like there was more.
Oh, I missed this. I missed this completely.
Yeah, so Halle Bailey came out with
Halle Berry?
No, not Halle Berry. Haley Berry.
Oh,
Bailey.
I don't know her.
Halle Bailey, who plays Ariel from The Little Mermaid. She's a younger actress.
Oh, got it.
But Halle Berry was there too. Remember Halle Berry?
Yeah,
I was like, man,
yeah.
she looks great. She looked amazing. With I think the actress from Glass Onion. Oh, the blonde actress. I forget her name.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
I missed
Kurt
the first
Russell's daughter.
I missed like 45 minutes of the Oscars.
Okay.
Well, I was driving home.
I'm just
so I
going
missed
blank.
the
Sorry.
Little Mermaid.
Anyways, back to it. Halle Bailey was there with the actress who plays Ursula. What I forgot her name. I'm sorry, I'm going blank. There's so many names.
That's fine. It's fine.
Anyways,
Just keep going. Yeah.
So the Little Mermaid, they were talking about it a little bit. You hear the music, and then the commercial break was the new trailer, and I was like, this is wild. I've never seen them do a trailer for, I don't know, the Oscars do in the show. I was like, what? That's crazy.
I think they should do that. Like, I think to make the Oscars more of an event too. I think during these commercials you play new trailers. Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
right?
you're celebrating movies. I don't want to see a Lay's commercial, like a Lay's chips commercial.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah. And then also there was the honoring of studios because it was the 100th year for Disney, and I didn't realize it was the 100th year for Warner Brothers too. So I was like, how crazy! They're both
That's pretty crazy.
So they were both showing highlight reels of both the companies, and I was like,
Sure.
They should do that
Yes, they
every
do.
year. Just highlight reels of every studio, kind of. All the major ones are. Actually, maybe not every studio. That's a lot. I forget. I'm
That'd be
being
funny.
biased and saying the main ones like Universal, Warner Brothers, and Disney. But there's
The big seven.
A24. Yeah, the big.
Well, there's the big seven
Big
is
Seven, right? Yeah, Fox and
yeah.
oh. But
That's
anyways,
I didn't watch the Little Mermaid trailer. Does it still look like weirdly dark?
dude. Okay, I'll say. Look, I don't know what happened, but man, it looks like Peter Pan. The new Peter Pan
cool.
look.
Okay.
It looks like cool, like the way they shot it. Okay,
Yeah.
the CGI in it looks really real and
Cool.
yeah. And then oh man, it was when she's singing her song. She goes on the rock and the water. Like I don't know. I was like, this looks great. It looks like cute and fun, but it also looks like I don't want to say gritty, but it looks gritty and real in a way.
Sure.
You know? So
Okay.
that's how
A live action version. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not animation. Yeah, I get it.
But it doesn't look
I'll watch
like
the trailer.
corny. You know,
Cool. I remember the teaser that they did. It was like
it was dark. It was dark.
dark
Hard to see.
in the
Yeah.
sense of like hard to see, like what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, this one was better. You
the
could,
shot where she's looking
Yeah.
up and it's like, are we under? Does it need to really look like we're underwater? Like
yeah, no, they fixed that for sure. I didn't know Javier Bardem plays King Triton, her father.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, he's
I
like-
bet he looks really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So imagine the cartoon. He looks like that, and then he's talking like, "Daughter, you cannot go to the sea. You can the
Big white beard?
Yeah, big white beard, everything, dude. the
Oh
Triton,
my
you know,
God.
it's hilarious. I was dying. I was like, no, Javier Bardem.
Let's see what he looks like.
And then the Prince Eric. I was like, oh, this actor looks great. He looks like the cartoon Prince Eric. But
Really?
mhm. He's a good-looking guy, you know, with the black. You know, you put him in a white shirt and the black hair, and it's like, yep, that's Prince
Yeah.
Eric. And then,
Dude, I googled photos to try to look at him.
mhm.
I don't see a single one.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. There it is. I found
Yeah.
it.
It's
Yep, he looks super silly. I love it.
yeah.
That's cool.
But
Yeah, overall, I think the Oscars, it was a good show. I'm glad they had all of the categories in there. I just don't want the Oscars to go away. It's a cool celebration of movies and stuff like that. And well, really, it doesn't matter who wins because you can just like and watch the movies you want to watch. Like that's kind of what it's all about. It's cool to have an award show that feels important still because
Yeah.
I feel it feels important even though it isn't really. It doesn't really matter what wins or gets nominated.
nothing bad happened. Like, I never wish any harm on anybody. No bad stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Like any drama too of like talking or I don't know in a speech. Like it was a
Yeah.
very smooth show too. Is what I mean. Very
Yeah, I
smooth.
think
Like
so.
nobody fell. You know, like
It was close.
You know
It was
who
close.
almost-
There's a couple people.
it was Elizabeth
Cocaine
Banks.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks was tripping up on her dress. It was like, don't fall. No,
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
It was funny.
Oh, Lizzie Olsen and Pedro Pascal. I can go on forever. I'll stop at that. But Lizzie Olsen and Pedro. Oh, Man, they looked
You're
great together.
obsessed.
Yeah.
You're obsessed. They were pretty good.
That's it for me. I mean, I'm good. I think that was
Cool.
fun.
Well, Ryder, what you been watching this week?
Oh, baby. Okay. Again, I could talk forever. Let's get into it. I recapped Edge of Tomorrow. I watched that one again. That's the Tom Cruise film.
Said that last week, I think.
I did. Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I think so.
that was then before the end of the week. I saw Scream, and I saw you watching the Scream movies too. So I'm getting giddy. I want to hear what your thoughts on that. Yeah, Scream movies in general, they're all kind of same cup of tea. This new one, they still revitalized it. What, some 10 years later? I was like, dang, they upped the violence, they upped the ante. The surprise was great, and this franchise is cool. It's kind of cool. It's very meta, about film bros, film bros especially.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoyed the latest Scream. I finally saw Singing in the Rain, dude. I was like, I gotta get on this. So
I've never seen Singing in the Rain.
Yeah,
I'm missing out.
It's okay because look, 23 years I haven't seen it. Look, it was the easiest 10 I've ever given in my life.
That's great.
One of the greatest films ever I've ever seen. You could see how Babylon practically copied it story. You could see the homages to La La Land. La La Land copied it so much. I know Damien loved Singing in the Rain. But yeah, it's Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor.
Yeah,
all of them. Just one of the greatest movies ever made, dude.
That's awesome.
Crazy. And then, dude, I've been on my Bella Ramsey high. I watched Catherine Called Birdie, a film on Amazon Prime. Man, it's one of those movies where it ended. I was so sad because I had to say goodbye to these characters. Man, I was like, I wanted to live in this world. Well, not live in the world, but you get so consumed by a world when you're watching a film that when it ends, you're like,
what?
Catherine Called Birdie. It's based off an old book, and Lena Dunham directed it. Man, Bella Ramsey's amazing. Oh my gosh,
cool.
Bella is just so good, especially even after Last Was Now, but
I've never even heard of it, so that's cool.
It's such a great film, youthful. Her dad wants to marry. Her dad is played by Andrew Scott. Wants to marry her off to a man to help the family with money, and she doesn't want to. So
cool.
It's just comedy. And then
I
watched the whole show of Fleabag.
The entirety of Fleabag?
That's 2 seasons of Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Andrew Scott.
Yeah.
Man, the writing's so good, dude. He's amazing. That's it.
That's awesome.
What have you been cooking?
I watched... Last week, I had watched half of The Whale and then watched the rest of The Whale. So I watched the rest of The Whale. We kind of talked about that already this episode. Triangle of Sadness. I've watched that before the Oscars, which was really funny. I thought it was really, really funny. I laughed harder during that movie than I have in a lot of movies this year. Have you seen that one?
No, I saw the trailer.
Yeah, they put it on Hulu, and it's Ryder, you will crack up. It is your humor. It is so good.
Yeah.
It was.
I saw them throwing up. I don't know. I thought it was Eat
hilarious.
The Rich. It's Eat the Rich or whatever.
Kind of, but the themes are kind of on the nose in that movie, which is why the third act I think isn't really all that good. The first 2 acts are great, and then it loses kind of momentum in the end. I was just so on it, but overall very funny. And then this weekend I went to Texas to visit my girlfriend, who's a huge Scream fan, and so she wanted to rewatch some of them for 6. I was like, I've only watched the first one, so we watched 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we watched them all. I'm caught up. I just need to watch 6 now in theaters, which I'm excited about.
What did you think of 5, the remake one?
Good. I thought it was interesting. It calls back to the first one a lot, and I mean, in a good way. And it makes fun of calling back to the original. It makes fun of we have to have at least 2 cast members connected to the. That's fun to me, dude. I think these movies are fun. I gave Scream a lot of shit from the outside, not watching it, being like, I guess slasher movie, 1 hour or whatever. But I like it, dude. I really like it. I think
they're different, bro. Come on.
They are. They have an extra layer of I don't know what to call it.
It's special. I don't know.
The camp doesn't get in the way of how fun it is. It's very self-aware, obviously, which is fun. And they're like murder mysteries more than just somebody's killing everybody. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I think I did myself a disservice watching them all back to back to back because a couple of the events in 2 and 3 kind of just merge right together. They're so I only remember some differences, but 4 was very different, and 5 obviously was the big jump of.
The crazy thing
Difference too.
about 6 is that it takes all of them and puts them in a pot, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
you're,
I'm glad I
you're
watched
mixing
him.
with everything.
Yeah, I would have not. I don't think I would have gotten as much out of if I just watched 6 without watching 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh yeah, no, dude, you need it. You need it. You need to watch them for this.
Yeah,
The
dude,
6th
I'm
one
very
is-
excited to watch 6.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe if you want to go see it again, Ryder, you just let me
Yes.
know because
Yes, I do.
I don't think I'm gonna convince my roommates here to go see it with me. So
Yeah, after I watched 6 though, it kind of sucks in your head because it's so violent, and you're like, oh, it just feels kind of. It's hard to like go home and be like, I need to watch something nice because
dude, 5 was pretty violent too.
6 is worse. It's
Good
worse,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
it's insane.
All right.
It's pretty. Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean, I don't
happy
want
to
to say
hear
no
it.
like spoilers, but some of the characters dying, I was like, wow, this is sad, dude. Like
Yeah.
my
A
main
lot of
man,
things.
bro. Like
Oh yeah,
rest
yeah.
in peace, bro.
It's one of those.
Sad.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. That's all I gotta do.
It was good. I
Absolutely.
totally enjoyed it. I think I'm a little screamed out. Like I might need to wait a couple days to
Yeah.
go watch this next Scream movie because
Absolutely.
it was a grind, but it was awesome.
So happy to hear. That's
Yeah.
funny because I felt the vibe, not a antagonistic one, just a vibe of I don't know about Scream, right? So now you're like,
I totally
and I'm
had that. I totally had that.
Yes, that's the thing though, is the audience. Because my mom, look, she thinks they're violent, but when the
They
first
are,
kill
yeah.
happens and it goes to Scream, everyone's cheering because it's like a film. It's like a cinephile movie, I guess, in a weird way. I don't know. It's like it's a cult classic.
Sure.
Film.
Well, I think that's part of the thing that I like about it is it's obviously you have like, oh, the stab movies are
Yeah.
like based on the Scream movies is fun, but then each stab movie is also they make fun of that movie, but in turn by doing that they're making fun of the own movie you're watching, which is I love that and they've continued that. It's great. But what is it that I'm looking for here? Is like it's always weird that this town, I know this is dumb,
Oh,
like
yeah,
this
no.
town
Say it, yeah.
glorifies and dresses up as these people
Yeah.
and like to go watch the movies, and then there's like the killer's always this. That would be like if we dress up as
Ted Bundy.
I
And
don't
we're
know,
like,
Ted
yeah, I'm
Bundy
from
for
this town.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's like no.
I don't know.
It's
Like, there's
because
some-
he's in a mask that I guess people probably are thinking in that universe. This
Yeah.
is my theory, is that
Sure.
oh, I'm not the killer. I'm just the character, like because there was Jason and Michael Voorhees and all that. So
Yeah. And
But
people dress
I'm
up
with
like those
you.
characters. I
Yeah.
kind of like it's like people dressing up as the Joker to go see the Joker is like, are you serious? Like it gives me the
Yeah.
ick, dude. It's so gross.
okay, I'll admit. Look, I'm with you with everybody except
Yeah.
Ghostface. I don't know why. Something about Ghostface. I
Sure.
would dress up as Ghostface, but I'd never have because I would never go back.
It feels
mile.
weird.
No, but yeah, I get why. I get why. I
Like the
know.
movie tells you that it's a weird thing to do, and then
Yeah.
people still do it.
Yeah.
Like the movie tells you do not do this,
Yeah, I
and
know, I
then
know.
people do it. It's
I
the
know.
funniest thing.
Hey, there were people dressed up in my screening. They were there. They were in
Oh,
the
I'm
masks
sure.
and stuff, and I was like,
I'm sure they were.
but
It's-
yeah, or
it's
like
weird.
Chucky. But I think there's a line. There's a line for sure, and I think people take it way out of proportion. I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
I
like,
don't know what
oh,
the
let
line
me
is.
get my knife and start fake stabbing you.
No.
Like that's horrible. I don't
Like
know.
we even had the second movie opens with a scene in the movie theater where people dressed as Stab and there's killings. Like I don't know, it feels
That's
weird
true.
to like go dress up
Yeah,
in a
the
movie
thing-
and do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what do
wouldn't go to a movie. They were okay. There were people, and then there was a group. They all ran out at the same time, and we all looked, and we were like, "Oh my god, are we gonna die?" Because
Yeah,
it was kind
ready
of
to
scary.
go.
During the film, they all had the cloaks, and they
Yeah.
all walked out, and it was like, "Oh my god."
I'm ready to go see this, dude. If you actually want to go see it again, I would love to go see it
Oh,
with you.
100%. I just want to see your reaction. I'm gonna be just watching you and be like,
Cool.
"Did you figure it out?"
Let's go use this. Let's go get this A-list to use,
A-list,
bro.
baby.
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll plan it. Well,
All right, guys.
there you
Well,
have
thank
it.
you so much for watching episode 102 of Freeze Frame, baby. That was our Oscar recap. I'm very happy about the Oscars.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
all.
Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time
Mhm.
for more news and stuff.
Peace
Bye.
out.